Hi, my name is Pam Doremus from Peaceful Spirit. I'd like to introduce to you today a lovely technique for relaxing and releasing the muscles in your neck. I really love acupressure because it's easy to learn, quick to perform, and absolutely free. In 1988, my future husband and I had a head-on collision with a bus where he broke his neck. So we, over the years, have had lots of experiments in different ways to both heal and relax and find a way to live with the trauma that happened. Tightness in the muscles of the neck doesn't need to come from anything as dramatic as our accident. When life gets tough, it can literally be a pain in the neck. The thing is, when all of these muscles tighten up, it can choke off the energy meridians, the blood, and the nerves that run through the neck, so the head literally has a hard time communicating with the rest of the body. Now, you can perform this technique on yourself, but for this first time through, I'd like you to find a friend. Acupressure is very easy to perform, but here are a few suggestions if this is your first time. The points that we're using today are right on top of bones, so you don't want to press in very hard. You want to very gently press a fingertip or two into each point, just for a minute or two. Generally, the points are either like sensitive or sore, but in case that's not true, what you want to do is go to the general area, kind of feel around and find the point that feels right inside of you. This is a great opportunity to work on your intuition. The point of this whole process is to relax. So to amplify this experience, just notice your breathing and become very calm. I'd like to introduce my helper today. This is Daniel, whose back you'll be seeing for the rest of this video. Now, our first point is near the bottom of the shoulder joint, about an inch in towards the spine. The easiest way to find this is by running your fingertip up the back of the arm and around over into the body. Go to the place where it feels like arm becomes back, and then move in about an inch, and you'll find the point that's a little bit sensitive. Now, when you first feel this, you may or may not feel a pulse in one of your fingers. Eventually, what we're going for is to feel a pulse in first one finger, then in both fingers, which would indicate an improved energy flow through the area. Our second point can be a little bit more difficult to find. So first we want to find the shoulder blades. In this picture, you can see my hands are on Daniel's shoulder blades with the fingertips at the top edge of the shoulder blades and the thumb running along the outside edge. If you draw a line between the thumbnail and the fingernail on my index finger, that line passes directly over that second acupressure point that we're looking for. It's at the top of the shoulder blade, about an inch into the shoulder blade and a couple of inches away from the center of the spine. Again, you're going to just hold these points for a couple of minutes. Maybe you'll feel a pulse in one finger, maybe you'll feel a pulse in both. Our third point is very easy to find, especially if the receiving partner is wearing a t-shirt. If you're wearing a t-shirt with ribbing at the neck, that acupressure point is usually right in the middle of the ribbing or on the seam. It's on the top of the shoulder, at the base of the neck, and it's right in the trapezius muscle. So you're going to hold this point. Now, you don't want to come too far onto the back of the body because there is another acupressure point there, but it's not as effective for the technique that we are doing today. Our next point is on the back of the neck. It's about halfway up the neck. You can see that there's a series of bumps that are the vertebrae that make up the neck, and you're going to go about an inch out to either side, halfway up the neck. You're going to feel around for those points that feel correct or the points that are sensitive, and you're going to hold on to those for a couple of minutes. Our fifth point is in the base of the skull. If you feel around at the base of the skull, you'll feel that there's a series of muscular connections and there are hollows. So you're going to feel around at the base of the skull until you find those points that are sensitive, and hold on to those for a moment or two to release that acupressure point. Our final point is in the crown center at the top of the head. There are lots of acupressure points on the top of the head. Actually, the one that I find to be the most effective is if you go to the center top of the head and then move back about 3 inches. That's the one that I have had the most success with for this technique. So you're just going to hold on to it. Sometimes your receiving partner will find that this particular point is very, very sensitive. When you find that one, you know you're in the right place. After any energy healing technique, it's very important to ground yourself. And this technique is no different. So if you're working on someone else, you can hold the tops of their feet to help them ground. If you're working on yourself, you can imagine your own feet rooting deeply into the ground. Breathe, relax, and feel your connection to the universe, and imagine that beautiful flow of energy that you are. Here are all the points in one place, so you can pause this video to practice on your own. Enjoy the freedom and relaxation that accompany a completely released, completely relaxed neck.